What's up, guys? Delaet here, and I want to talk to you today about opportunity. So I go out tonight. We're about to go back on purple status for COVID, so we're not going to be able to go out much anymore. And I'm hanging out and talking to a bunch of people. Everybody's off to some bonfire. I don't want to sit around in the cold all night, so I'm home. But I was talking to Jerry yesterday about, being blessed and all that shit. You can see that in yesterday's video. But I do a gratitude meditation every morning where I go through all the things I'm grateful for and kind of set my focus in the right spot. And I originally got into it because I was down in Thailand and I met up with all these Buddhist monk people. Got a little bead thing. I forget what it's called. What do they call that thing? Looks like a rosary, but it's not. It's for Buddhists. Anyways, and what they did is they told me to go. There's a bunch of prayers that go along with it, but I was like, yeah, I'm not really Buddhist prayer guy. And they said, okay, well, go through from the beginning to the end, and there's 108 beads on this thing, right? And go through whatever you're grateful for, and focus on that, and you set your brain in the right place. Cool. So I picked up that practice, and every morning I go through some sort of gratitude meditation, not too woo-woo or whatever. I just think of the stuff that I'm fortunate to have in my life, and things that are opportunities, things that are cooking, and it puts my brain in the right spot. And I'm usually pretty appreciative of everything that's going on because I'm primed that way, right? So in the morning I wake up and go through all the shit, and then as the day goes around, I start to see opportunities. I start to see ways that I'm being, things are working out for me. And it's kind of a habit now, so I don't really consciously take stock of the positive effects it has in my life, except for every day, yesterday's things that happened to me that were awesome get kind of recorded in my mind as I'm doing the next day's gratitude meditation. And so I was out tonight, and I was I was just hanging out with a bunch of people, one of my friend's sisters or whatever, and I met these new people, and they're different. They have, one of these girls, she traveled everywhere. She's in a different space than most people, and I'm similar. I go all over the place. I've done all this crazy shit all over the world or whatever, but we didn't even talk about that stuff, but you could just feel the vibe is different. Somebody who had kind of chosen to move her life at this level, and everybody else is kind of not. And I was talking to her, I think it was her mom's boyfriend or something, and he was talking to me about what I did for a living or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I'm a speaker, and he's like, oh yeah, well, we should have you on over here. I'm like, okay. Anyway, he's putting on a conference next year, and he wants me to go speak and talk about how important focus and passion is in professional life. And I'm like, well, I embody that. Like, I chose a professional life that will let me live out my passions and dreams, and I never look back. But I didn't think that I was like a authority on the subject, but kind of how I communicated my personality, that's what he kind of took from me. And so he wanted to see if I would do this. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll write a whole thing down and see if you like it. And so that opportunity just kind of shows up in my life. I don't know what it's going to do for me or whatever. It's not about benefit. It's really about like experience for me. So it just showed up in my life by being who I was, and just moving through the world at the tune of how I move. And it kind of shocked me for a second to be like, oh yeah, I do roll in this circle, right? Like it's kind of lonely, not lonely, it's not the right word. It's kind of isolating to not do what everybody else is doing, to not be a part of the norm, and then you run across normal people, and if you don't pay attention to it, it's hard to have a conversation that doesn't balance. What's the word I'm looking for? It's hard to have a conversation where they can build rapport with you, and you can build rapport with them by meeting on common ground. If you just sort of like blast off on all the stuff that you have done that they haven't, or your mind says the way that you think that you haven't, and they'll say things and make inside jokes and quote TV that I haven't watched forever, and I can't I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so it's hard to build rapport in those spaces if you don't pay attention to it. And it's like, what a fucking first world problem that is, to not be able to connect with people because you live an extraordinary life. But at the end of the day, all of the normal people are trying to live extraordinary lives of their own design. I'm not saying anybody wants to be like me on any sort of level, but they do want to have the freedom that I've attained for myself, I guess, and live out their dreams, live out their passions. And so I got back in the car after the bar closed down, and I was like, I'm extraordinarily grateful for the path that my life has taken. A lot of the stuff was done with focus and intent by me, but a lot of the stuff was just discovered along that path. It wasn't like I intended to go to all of these crazy countries and do all, speak to all of the people that I've spoken to, become a full-blown expert in a very specific field. Like, a lot of that stuff started with intent, but it ended up with discovery, because I was fully invested in the explorational process, and I'm just truly grateful for the stuff that I've learned and accomplished along the way. And as I begin to kind of poke out of the masses with how I live my life and how I speak and how I engage people, and how opportunities begin to show up, because there's this concept that I was playing around with last week. It's like, look, we spent our entire lives trying to fit in when you're supposed to stand out. You're supposed to niche down. You're supposed to have something that you're really good at that not many other people are very good at, because that's what makes you money. That's what, gets you status. That's what gets you, respect in circles and whatever. Like, it's important to work on something so deep that you end up not like anybody else, in order to have your own uniqueness and significance in the world. And, if you don't feel the need to be significant, then sure, fit in with everybody else. But I've never fit in, first off. And secondly, I've never wanted to, really. I've always wanted to build a lot of rapport with a lot of people. I wanted to be liked. I wanted people to appreciate me and validate or whatever. But I've never wanted to be like them. I've always wanted to be extraordinary. I wanted to stand out, and so as the layers of binding fall off, as you make choices to isolate yourself from the people who are just kind of following the path, it comes with its own challenges, but it's so rewarding. Like, I can live life knowing that most of it is my design, and I've chosen what I'm doing and where I'm going with it, right? So yeah, I started the video talking about opportunity, and I just wanted to explain loosely, I guess, how gratitude and really taking stock of the things that you have, the things that you have accomplished, and the opportunities that you have can set your mind in the right focus for finding new opportunities. And so today's exercise for you guys is to write down a list, or you can speak it out. Sometimes I use Otter, it's a transcriber, of things that you're grateful for that are unique to you. Not just, I'm grateful for the air I'm breathing, I'm grateful for the food I had today, I'm grateful for the fact that I have a car. Like, not just that stuff. Those are the great things to be grateful for, but things that are unique to you. Mindsets that you have, connections that you've made, the things that if you weren't you acting as yourself, you wouldn't have access to. And so write that list down and kind of reflect on it really fast. And I think because I've done this practice for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now, I get a lot of benefit out of priming myself to the things that I'm grateful for in my own uniqueness, and that it shows me, it highlights the opportunities that I have on a day-to-day basis when I run into people. So yeah, write that down. That's your exercise for today. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about, what you're grateful for. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I do this thing every day, so check out yesterday's video over here. Check out the list of all of the daily challenges since we started this thing. Check out David's channel and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I will see you guys tomorrow. Till then, stay awesome.